Chapter 31. All through Georgia, Warble can't keep his mind off peaches, and he practically lives on pie filled with that fruit throughout their crossing of that state. By South Carolina, though, he's back to his customary routine of cinnamon rolls for breakfast, cheeseburger with fries for lunch, and pizza with beer for dinner. Passing through Virginia conjures up Civil War accounts, which Warble relates to Mary in his inimitable screwball fashion. Arriving in Maryland, Warble decides that it is imperative that he and Mary visit Camden Yards, the home of the Baltimore Orioles. The most enjoyable part of the trip to Camden Yards for Mary are the ribs served at Boog Powell's booth. Warble explains to Mary, in earshot of the former Oriole slugger, how Boog is one of three famous brothers. Boog's older brother, Cozy, was a rock drummer who played with Ted Nugent and Rainbow, among others. And Cullen, the baby of the family, is some bigwig in the military. In both cases, Warble explains, Boog's brothers owe their success to him. The big first baseman taught his brothers how to use a bat, and both of them adapted this acquired skill to their chosen professions. In Cozy's case, drumsticks became for him a pair of slim baseball bats. He hit the snare drum as if a curve had been thrown his way, the tom-tom as if a knuckleball was delivered, etc., and this accounted for Cozy's unique drumming style, dubbed rhythmo-perc, short for rhythmic percussion. In Cullen's case, the man learned early from Big Brother Boog to walk softly and carry a big stick. Boog pays no attention. He's worked with the public long enough to recognize a bird brain when he sees one and just lets Warble be. After the Orioles defeat the Yankees 13-0 in extra innings, Warble is feeling so content that he lets Mary drive for a while. It might be that Warble is feeling expansive due to the several beers he drank during the seventh-inning stretch. During that break in the action, the beer vendor in their section set his tray down for a few seconds to assist an elderly lady who had fallen down the steps. She tripped right after walking past Warble, but there's absolutely no evidence that he stuck his foot out. Warble was able to quaff the remainder of the vendor's supply of beer before the Good Samaritan returned to retrieve his tray. Warble, of course, had feigned ignorance of any knowledge regarding any untoward happenings with respect to either the sprawling octogenarian or the missing beer. Warble dozes off right after his last glimpse of Camden Yards in the rearview mirror. Seldom has a man had such a goofily contented look on his face as Warble does now. A few hours later, Warble begins to stir awake as the McGorkles enter Asbury Park, New Jersey. As he gradually regains full consciousness, Warble comes to realize the significance of the location. Mary, this is a historic place. You were going to just drive right on through it without waking me, weren't you? Mary glances over at Warble for a second and then returns her gaze to the road. What, this dump? What do you mean by historic, Warble? Do you mean prehistoric? Mary, don't do me like that. This town is like Memphis. You know, Graceland, or like Waterloo, where General Custer lost his life to a bunch of French chefs who had gone on the rampage after they discovered he had greedily eaten all of the escargot, which Custer had stealthily, or so he thought anyway, purloined from the hors d'oeuvre plate. Mary holds up her hand to halt Warble's forward progress. She had been enjoying the peace and quiet while he slept, well, relative peace and quiet since Warble does snore just a tad, and was in no mood for a Warble filibuster right at the moment. All right, Warble, I get the picture. Just tell me, how is this burg like Graceland and Waterloo? What historic event took place here? Why, Mary, I do declare that if it weren't for the occasional yo play, you would have no culture whatsoever. This town, this very town through which we are now driving, along with all the other towns around these here parts, Freehave, Matawan, Short Branch, etc., are the old stomping grounds of that legendary Hollywood actor, Bruce Boxleitner. You mean the guy who was in 7 Brides for 7 Brothers? The very same. And that's just for starters. He wrote, produced, co-produced, directed, and starred in On the Waterfront, which was filmed right here in Asbury Park, his hometown. And he was the stuntman, too. He even played both parts in the famous fight scene and beat himself up. which is no mean trick. I'll be darned, Mary says, trying half-heartedly to mask her total disbelief and complete lack of interest. Warble leans back in his seat and lets out a deep sigh. What an exciting day it has been for him. First, to see the Orioles beat the Yankees in extra innings, and now to cruise through the hometown of that most revered of all of Hollywood's leading men, Bruce Boxleitner. You know, he's respected to such an extent in Hollywood that they have a nickname for him. Everybody in the industry knows exactly who you are talking about when you mention the Box. The Box? Mary questions. That's an odd nickname. Maybe, Mary, maybe, but you'll have to admit, Boxleitner isn't exactly orthodox. Anyway, the moguls and starlets and stogie-puffin' high-powered agents all just call him the Box. The Box did this, they say, or the Box did that, or it must be a cool movie to be affiliated with if the Box is starring in it, etc. Well, give me Tom Selleck any day, Mary says, shaking her head. Mary, bite your tongue to even mention Bruce Boxleitner's name in the same breath as that phony baloney Hawaiian cowpoke. The only good thing he ever did was invent Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza. I'd like to give him a Hawaiian punch. Pow! Right in the kisser. Warble folds his arms across his chest and stares out the window, ignoring Mary and sulking. Warble doesn't talk to Mary again until they reach the Big Apple.